I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Not only is it Doddie Aid Live, but it is Ladies' Night, and do we have a lot in store for you? I have been smiling like the Cheshire Cat for the last 15 minutes as we have just been setting things up production style. We are winging it in from all over TV land tonight, and I cannot wait to get started. Now, this is all about Doddie Aid. This is to raise funds and awareness for the My Name is Doddie Foundation to get to a cure for MND, and you people have been absolutely magnificent. And last week I spoke about the people, and I read out a message that inspired me, and here's another. Anne Noble, if you are here, hello and thank you. I started walking daily with Team South last January and kept it going for the whole year, and now I can't live without it. It's been brilliant for my physical, mental, and spiritual health. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those people who are not quite sure, that is the good stuff. This is long enough to make it into a habit that makes us feel good. And if it makes you feel good, we'll keep doing it. So let's keep doing it. And if you saw the video of Doddie today, you'll see that he's at it as well. So let's get on your bike, get out there for a walk, take the dog, go for a run, join the 5K. Get involved with Doddie Aid, and let's be part of something huge. Now, we have got the guest list of guest lists. So shut up, Bruce, and let's get on with it. Let's bring in her ladyship. Did she deserve it? Ladies and gentlemen, people of the Commonwealth, please welcome Jill Douglas, MBE. Yes.
What a build-up.
Yes. How good was that? Because you had to keep that a secret for a while.
It was lovely, yes. Thank you very much, Bruce, and what a great introduction. And hello, everybody. I got a lovely note from the Prime Minister's office. God, what a day he's had. Inviting me around for drinks. No, that wasn't.
And you would have been there in a heartbeat.
Saying that that I'd been nominated for this, and it was lovely. So yes, I had to keep it very quiet. Told Carl, and then I told my sister, and that was all. And so yeah, lovely. And I know Gabby, who we'll be talking to later, she went to Windsor towards the end of this year and received her MBE from the Duke of Cambridge, and so it looked amazing. So I think it's a real treat. But no, I tell you what's been really lovely. I've had loads and loads of nice messages from people, and like people I worked with at the Southern Reporter back in the very start of my kind of career, and the Hoyt News, and people at Border TV, and producers I've worked with for many years, and people in sport I've known, 25 years. So it's been really great actually to reconnect with those people, and of course all the people that I work with in the foundation. So yeah, I think it's a treat, and hopefully it reflects well on all the people that have worked so hard for the foundation as well.
Yeah, you've done brilliantly. We were delighted. What did Doddie say?
Why did you not tell me?
Yeah, absolutely class. Now, the summer was weird, but one of the absolute highlights of the Olympics was you speaking to Ruby too. It was just gold, and she's funny, and you did it brilliantly. How good a little moment was that?
It was great, and a little gift from Ruby too. And actually, she sent me a nice message as well. So she must follow the social media and sent me a little shout out after the New Year's honours came out, which I thought was quite lovely, really, because she's quite a character and such an absolutely brilliant rugby player and ambassador for the game as well. So yeah, that was great. And there was a lot of highlights like that, but she's a bit like Mark Cavendish. You just somebody that when you interview, you're never quite sure what you're going to get, but you're going to get something great. And we got a great response to that. She was so vibrant and so thankful to be at the Olympics. It had been a long wait for them to get there, and they were so excited to be there, like everybody was. So I think it was a really honest expression of that excitement. So she's brilliant. I'm a huge fan of Ruby too.
It was such a brilliant thing, and it's been shared so many times, and it's been brilliant for you and for her. And you're looking ahead now. You're going to get busy in the next little while. Are we going to see you on TV?
Yeah, off to Ireland this weekend for BT Sport for European Rugby. I'm up in Glasgow, I think, next weekend for the Glasgow Montpellier game.
And there's going to be some spectators there
No,
to cheer you
Glasgow,
on.
La Rochelle, Glasgow,
Oh,
La Rochelle. And then what else have we got? Some Six Nations, huge, big wedge of Six Nations games coming up. I'll be with ITV for that. So up against my colleagues from BBC, who you'll talk to shortly. But they do different matches. So ITV do the games from Paris, from Rome, from Dublin and Twickenham. So we've got some great matches coming up. So yeah, combination of rugby, some snooker, some bits and pieces, and then building up later in the year to the Commonwealth Games. So there's plenty going on, which is quite a juggle with everything that happens with the foundation as well. But it seems to work.
And now you're an MBE, you'll be able to demand a bit more cash.
Have you met my employers?
So Carl is getting on a bike and he's going to do 500 miles. What are you going to be doing that's extreme?
Well, I did swim in the sea this morning, and that counts. I didn't swim many miles, but I did log it. So he's doing that with Dean Ryan, Duncan Hodge.
Yeah, I saw Hodgie yesterday, and he is stressing.
And Craig Joyner's doing it with them. And I think I was going to say they're looking forward to it. You know what Rob's like, Rob Wainwright. He's got them, all fired up to do it. And I see there's some guys from Selkirk doing it. There's some great teams involved. So he's been training hard, Carl. I mean, but he's a big unit to take up and down hills. So, but
how much media training did you give him before that video he posted yesterday?
I only just saw it. I thought, oh, hello.
There was a bit of delayed reaction for the clackerboard going down till he started talking, but he got there. We love Hoggy. We love Hoggy. And Doddie is going ridiculously well. I reckon with my maths that we're on about £343,000 raised, and we're only 12 days in.
It's just phenomenal. And I think last year, if you think back 12 months, we were in,
proper lockdown.
And it sort of organically grew, and we tried to be a bit more organized this time with making it more easy for people to sign up. And
Rob Wainwright being more organized.
Well, we did try our best, and I think the app's gone down really well. So the vast majority of people have downloaded and used the app to sign up, and there's lots of different content and different bits and pieces on that, and we'll carry on using that for other things as well. So, thanks to everybody that's signed up and got their snoods. Hopefully, eventually, Brian is busy with his team in Falkirk, shoveling them in envelopes and getting them out to people. And then I think now people are starting to open up their Just Giving pages and trying to attract a bit more funds that way. It's such a brilliant start to the year for us. It is, hard work in the charity sector, and I appreciate everybody has got different calls on their hard-earned funds, and it's been a difficult 18 months. Some people haven't been working as much, and it is difficult. And I think what we say with Doddie Aid is you don't have to raise a huge amount of money, just be part of it. And it's, some of the feedback we've got is they just feel as though it's accessible. People feel as though they feel as though they're doing something for the foundation, even if they're not, asking lots of friends to help, fundraise at the same time. But I think also, you touched on it, the sort of emotional and mental well-being and spiritual well-being, to be out and doing things, taking some exercise through January in the dark days is fantastic. And it just seems to have given people that little lift, that little impetus to get moving. And I think that's what's really special about it.
I love it. And you're still Team South, not like some of these turncoats. You know where your roots are, Jill Douglas, Jether. Brilliant. So didn't give me that. You went to Jed school. You claim this Hoyk thing. You're worse than Rory Lawson claiming this Hoyk thing.
I was born in Hoyk. My brother was born to
Jed. I'm not having this. I'm not having it. Your feathers Hoyk. You are
5 years at Jed Grammar School does not make me Jether.
You're a mixed up South lady. Yeah, you careful. Yeah, careful. There we go. The TV, making sure we've got a little caveat in there.
Melrose. Does that make me Melrose?
No. Well, you married down there, Jill Douglas. You married down there. Right, let's award some prizes for some Genius. So Genius have been huge supporters of the foundation and of Doddie. The little logo is there, and 5p from every can goes towards the foundation. And they have brilliantly given us some donations for winners, and I should know who this is going to be. So the winners, one from each district. Now, speaking of Melrose, this lady has done brilliantly, and I'm very proud of her. Her name's Abby Smith, and she's from the south. Now, Jill, Abby wasn't keen, and she was quite open on social media saying she doesn't do running and she doesn't do that. Look at this. We're on today's 11 out of 31, and she's run walked every single day. How good is that?
Fantastic. Well done, Abby. And do you know what? Once you get into it, it's a difficult habit to break, and you suddenly get that endorphin rush and you start missing it if you don't get the chance to do it. And so I think it's a brilliant, positive story. Well done, Abby. You are richly deserving as our winner this week.
Yeah, well done, Abby. And Sarah from the Barbarians is our winner from down south. And Sarah is taking the dog with her and getting out and about. Look at those photographs. That is impressive. Some people will do anything to have a rest.
Well, listen, I think that what a beautiful dog as well. And in the pouring rain, she does deserve extra miles, because it's, January, you're not always going to get blue sky days. You're going to get some pretty crappy days. So the fact that she's out there every day, taking the dog, good for her.
And Sarah, Gabby Logan made a bit of a plea for people to get out and about. She's not happy. They've slipped from second to third. So she's going to be a big pal of yours, Sarah. Now, Edinburgh, I love this. Shabana Edwards has been unbelievable. Look at that. Over 31,000 metres for Team Edinburgh on the row. That's impressive.
Very impressive. Excellent work on that rower. And I know how hard work that is in the turbo there. So well done. And, every metre counts, whatever you're doing. So I think that's been a top.
I reckon John Davidson will be raising his glass to that one. Now, for Glasgow, and Glasgow needing a bit of help, Lee McKenzie's on later and Jenni Falconer's on later. Now, Lee's Team Babas, but I think her heart's secretly still in Glasgow. Now, I was scrolling through the Glasgow team and I picked out Elaine Nielsen, and then lovely Rory, who's doing the social media for Glasgow, had sent this anyway. Now, Elaine, Jill, has been putting in the distances after coaching the DL mini rugby. So she's out on the pitch with the little fellas and then comes back in and puts in a bit of a shift. I think that's probably to just calm down a wee bit.
Well done. And listen, the amount of miles and meters she does running about coaching the minis should probably get logged as well, but then putting in the miles on the rower as well. So big up to Elaine. Well done.
Yeah, and well done, DL Rugby Club. Love going there. Brilliant people, proper clubland people. And then the Northern Midlands. Now, this was Mr. Wainwright's shout. He was desperate for these guys to win. These are the Swifts from Northern Midlands. Look at this. Oh.
It's loading.
Video wasn't happy there. We'll maybe get that later, and I'll get a wee message to say you have seen it.
And I've seen them. They are absolutely brilliant. And Rob, I know he said we must do these guys. They need a good shout out, and he's absolutely right. So well done to them. I'm delighted to see them get some genius on the way. And I've no doubt it will go down very, very well. Now, Jill, before we let you disappear, you said you had a very important appointment at 8 o'clock, but your mate who's coming on later, Jude, absolutely stitched you up and said it's just because you'd be due another drink by then. So give us a rallying call for people to get involved with Doddie Aid. Well, other than what I've said, which is just the fact that it's never too late to start. You don't have to have been signed up at the beginning of January. You can join us anytime, and we go right through to the Doddie Cup. And it's an excuse to get a little bit active and do as much as you can do. It's just being part of that community. And, I keep saying to people, what we're trying to do is raise some really significant funds that we can invest in research into motor neuron disease. We've got some exciting projects going on at the minute. Our research officer and grants officer, Olivia, who works at the foundation, she spent some time today with the MND Smart team up in Edinburgh.
I saw that on social media.
I mean, it's amazing. They've been recruiting patients across 16 sites in the UK and giving them access to clinical trials. It's the biggest clinical trial ever in the UK for MND. And we have invested a lot of money in that and made it possible for people to take part in these trials and supported it along with other funders. So, that's where the money's going. And, have a look at our website if you want to learn more about how we spend and invest these much, much needed funds. And we've got, we're very ambitious. We've got a very clear vision and we've got some brilliant people we work with. So if you needed any more encouragement, that's where it is. I think, we're so fortunate that we've got this incredible support and we can't thank you enough for everything that you do. So please stick with us and just keep in touch with us, keep following us and seeing what we're doing, as well as investing in research. We're also trying to help people who suffer from MND. We've given £150,000 just this month to help with grants for people. So I think that's where the money's going. So if when you're putting in those hard miles and you're on the rowing machine or you're out in the pouring rain or you're on your bike or you're out for a run or you're out for a walk or you're swimming or whatever it is you're doing, rest assured we care and are respectful of every pound that is earned and raised for us, and we are very careful about how we invest it.
Brilliant. Do you know Davy Oliver for Hoyk, Jill?
I do know Davy Oliver from Hoyk.
Because he's all over it. Look at this. He's saying, sorry he's late, but he's now cracked the 300-mile mark. That's impressive. Now, if you know his wife, Lisa, I think she's probably quite happy because it gets him out the house for a while because he's an absolute nightmare. He's going down to Wales for the Doddie Cup and he's best pals with Max Boyce. So I've no doubt there will be lots of things all over social media. Jill Douglas, MBE, lovely to see you. You are our leader and we will follow you wherever you take us. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the ladies, Bruce. Behave yourself.
How good. Jill Douglas, MBE. We're just going to have to keep this party going because we've got a lot of people on here who we need to speak to. Now, this lady is dialing in from Italy, who's currently on a secret mission because she wouldn't tell us what she's doing there, but she's been put into isolation. So it's obviously very, very important. She's championing Team Babas. She's well involved in everything that's going on. And not on the poster because this is a late entry and Jill Douglas is a big spoiler because she went and said it. So please welcome really properly the one and the only like real. This is not a looky-likey. Gabby Logan.
Hello, how are you?
You've no idea how I am. You have no idea.
Good to see you.
And you're in Italy and you're desperate to let people know that this is not your house that you're in.
Well, there's a strange looking pink painting behind me, which it just appears to be just the color pink. And I just want people to know that that's not my painting. I can probably get it in my suitcase if anybody wants it, but
we'll auction it.
Yeah, it belongs to this hotel, which I can't even tell you where I am because I genuinely don't know. I arrived in the middle of the night in Milan. Drove 2 hours to the middle of nowhere. 5 wild boar ran in front of the car. We were driving towards the hotel. Honestly, I have no idea where I am. I think it's about 40 minutes from Turin, but it's not my final destination. Are you going to tell us?
Are you going to say your safe word? Like, are you being held hostage? Is there going to be a ransom out?
So I'm doing something quite exciting and interesting. So I've got to stay in this hotel for a few days just to make sure that we're all COVID safe. So it's the first time, Bruce, that I've had a kind of period like this since probably the beginning of lockdown 2020, where I'm just kind of in one place, for a while. So I'm going to try and catch up with work and enjoy the solitude because it's a very quiet area where I am.
So how are you just going to do lengths of the room for racking up some miles here?
Well, I get an hour a day. So today, I reckon it wasn't far to run. I reckon I did probably about 3K of running and then I did some other workout and ran back again. So that was today. So I get an hour out of the hotel room. But I suppose I could keep my watch on and just keep walking around the room, couldn't I? That way I'd get there.
I tell you what, there's people like me going, hang on, an hour and she did 3K plus a workout and then 3K back. That would have taken me about 2.5. So you were obviously going quite quickly.
Maybe I stretched my hour slightly, but there's no police kind of observing me. This isn't a government kind of hotel. It's not like one of those hotels that they used to have at Heathrow for a while or Gatwick or wherever. This is a it's because the company who I'm working with are kind of doing it. So I'm not being monitored. I'm all right to talk to you. I'm not being bugged.
Have you ever met John Davidson? John's the man who rode the Atlantic for Doddie Aid and
I know
used to
who he
work
is,
for the SAF. So he's volunteering to come and rescue you.
I was hoping kind of Daniel Craig, but yeah, I'll take
Oh,
anybody.
you kidding me
really,
on? Look at that. That is a fine looking man. That is a fine.
No, I haven't. I mean, when I say I mean to rescue me, obviously. Yeah. I've got my own fine-looking man at home, just in case he's tuning in.
Yeah, and is he racking up some miles? Is he doing as
he's
told?
doing well. So he's doing as well as his regular walks, and because he can't really run because of his historical back situation from rugby, he cycles a lot. So he's doing his pal Robbie Mailer and him are doing, they've got to do at least, both of them do at least 10 miles a day and then more if they can. So that's their kind of limit on the bike. So he's discovered Swifting and he's loving it. So yesterday I left him cycling around London on the Swift. So he was going around the Mall and places. I did the tour of Yorkshire the other day, which was quite exciting because there's a great, really steep gradient in the middle of it and you get a real burn. So it's good fun Swifting.
That's impressive. Does he look good in Lycra?
I don't think he looks as good as he thinks he does. But, you know, I mean, he's 50 this year, so not bad. I mean, he has no shame in it. You know, he wanders around with his little cycling shorts on and people come to the door
shame.
And he doesn't walk off and get changed. So, you know, he's keeping in good nick.
Now, Gabby, we hadn't met until about 20 minutes ago, but I have to say a huge thank you to you. And you maybe don't realize the power of your podcast.
Right, okay, go on.
But my wife listens to your podcast.
Oh, amazing.
So can I thank you for all the circles on the calendar? And we'll just leave it there. Okay. Thank you for your podcast. You're doing good things for lots of people. So thank you for that.
In case people don't know, it's called Midpoint. We've gone 4 series now. New series starts when I get back from Italy. And I love doing it. It's a really intimate way of broadcasting because you don't know who's going to listen, right? It's not like a radio station where you've got an idea of your demographic. I mean, I've got an idea when you call something Midpoint, it's about midlife. You've got a rough idea of the demographic. But when I get feedback from people and that it's just so lovely, so it feels like a really kind of personal relationship with your listener when you podcast. So it's been good fun. And I kind of can do it whenever I want as well.
As you know, Gabby, I also have a podcast, and I'm sure you've listened to it. Do you ever wonder about where people are listening to your podcast?
I assume, because I'm a podcaster listener who does it when I'm running or walking, so I assume people are kind of on the move. But I guess you could be anywhere, couldn't you? You could even be having a snooze in bed. You could be out on your bike. Where do you listen to your podcast?
Well, I think we should just move on, Gabby, from where I listen to my podcast because people might be having a late tea. So we'll just carry on. But I would just like to put on record my thanks for Midpoint.
Thanks,
you're doing good things for people. So thank you. And people can now go back and listen to the back catalogue and try and join the pieces together and work out what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, Gabby, Doddie Aid. Yeah. Yes, she's watching through there, and will probably leather me when I finish this. Now, Doddie Aid, you are fully involved, and you are putting videos out and giving people a hard time and telling them to get involved. You are not happy that you've slipped to 3rd place, am I right?
No, not happy at all. And I can only assume that's just people being a little bit slack in putting their miles in. You know, maybe they've done the miles but forgotten to put them in. Or they've had a couple of days, I don't know, maybe they weren't doing dry January and they had a busy weekend, you know, and then they've just got to get themselves back into it. But I felt like we were really powering at the beginning and we just kind of, the foot's come off the gas a little bit. So we need people to not just keep moving, keep talking about it, get their friends signed up. I love it when people, you know, tell me they've signed up and why they've signed up. I'll tell you a funny story. A guy last year in lockdown, when we were going on many of our walks, Kenny got into litter picking. And we were walking through these woods one day and he's got a litter picker and he's picking up litter. And this guy's walking towards us and he's got a Costa coffee cup. And we're in the middle of literally nowhere. There's no bins in sight. So Kenny said, are you finished? And the guy's like, yeah. And he said, do you want me to take your cup? And the guy recognized us and he didn't quite know what was going on. Was this extra service from the BBC? Was the license fee payer now getting us picking up the litter for them? And the guy texted me he tweeted me the other day, and he said, "You picked up my coffee cup in the woods, so I'm signing up for Team Barbarian." And this was in the middle of Buckinghamshire. So I was like, yes. So it was worth it. It was worth taking his litter for. But when you get those kind of people saying, I want to do something, I really admire Doddie, I admire what's happening with the charity, I really want to get involved. And the important thing, as Jill just said then, for me, is that we're not putting pressure on people to then go and raise thousands and thousands of pounds themselves. It's about getting your snood, buy your snood. If you can, encourage other people to get involved. If you can raise money more than just the, buying of the snood, great. But just spread the word. I'd rather, everybody in Barbarians currently goes and tells one other person. That would be amazing.
Correct. I totally agree. Now, one of our next guests who's coming on, the wonderful Lee, she's Team Babas, but she really wants to be in Team Glasgow, but she's too scared of Gabby Logan. And I think she thinks that you get to see everybody that's on the list, and she doesn't want her name to be removed in case you hunt her down. So you are a very powerful lady.
Are you telling me she's transferring? She's coming.
No, she's still Team Babas.
Right,
but she wants to be in Glasgow because of the fear of Gabby Logan.
I'm going to send her a little DM later on and make sure that this is not something that she's wavering about, and that next year I find she's moved over to Glasgow. Lee's a very, very important member, I would say she's like another co-captain. She has huge influence. She's a very, very powerful woman. She's got a lot of friends in high places. Team Barbas need to keep Lee McKenzie on board.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's going anywhere. Chris Bradley would really like to get Lee McKenzie back to Glasgow. So I think the January transfer window is during Doddie Aid, so we're going to have to be really careful
it's open
here.
now, isn't it?
It's wide open.
Listen, I support Newcastle United, so we can buy Lee. We're spending all the money at the moment. I'm going to get in touch with the club. So we've got to keep Lee McKenzie on board.
I love that. To get in touch with it, get them to send us a couple of million, and then we can all put our feet up and just eat cake and drink tea for the rest of the month.
Yes, but you wouldn't feel as good in the long run.
I tell you what, tea and cake feels pretty good most of the time.
Yeah, when you've done 30k on your bike, you can have a bit of cake.
Right, okay. I'll go do 30k on my bike. So you're looking forward to the outcome of this, and we get to the 12th of February. We're on £343,000 just now. Do you reckon we can tip the mill again?
I really do. Yeah, I think this is a really strong start, and it feels like the momentum is building in that respect. There's lots of other things planned. I know Rob's got lots of strategic kind of ways of keeping the message front and center. I was on the Radio 2 breakfast show, and Zoe Ball spoke about Doddie Aid, and I'm going to get back in touch with her and see if we can get Zoe to give us a little bit more support as well, because I'm going to sadly have to kind of go off grid a little bit when I'm doing this show in Italy. So I need somebody else to kind of like keep drumming the message in. So I'm going to try and see if we can get Zoe to do that. That'll hopefully push us up a little bit more up the table, and also the amounts. But I think this time, I'm not sure where we were this time last year, but it felt like there was a real late surge last year. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we're going to keep that's going to keep coming as well.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We finished late last year. Now, Jenni Falconer is going to give you pelters for drumming up support for Zoe Ball's breakfast show. So we're going to have to really make sure we look after Jenni when she comes on.
Available.
They certainly are.
I dip between a few different ones. I like to listen in. But she's listened. She wanted to. She signed up for Barbas that day, so she is in the team.
Right. Here's the message you need to send Zoe Ball. Next Wednesday night, 7:30, if Jenni Falconer can do this and get up early in the morning, Zoe Ball can bloody well do it as well. So you get in touch with Zoe Ball and tell her next week, 7:30.
Okay, Bruce, I will.
Yes, we've got that recorded. Gabby, it has been amazing to see you. Give us one last rallying call for Doddie Aid and maybe even Team Babas.
Well, obviously, I would like more people to sign up for Barbas. I'd like more miles to be put in. I'd like more money to be raised. But really, this is about Doddie Aid is about the whole picture. And the competition is great because I think a lot of us come from sporting backgrounds, but those that don't enjoy being part of a team, and you can sign up obviously as a team into any of the regions. But really, what this is about, on the one hand, is clearly fundraising, which is going towards incredible research, which we all hope will make a difference to people who are diagnosed with motor neurone disease in the future. And it is Doddie's wish that that he sees that change happening. It might not affect him, but it will affect other people, and that's what his desire and passion is for. But also, this is about fitness, and Jill said it, endorphins, getting habits created, becoming active, becoming more active, and retaining a level of fitness, which means you can go on and do other great fun things in your life. It's a brilliant time of year to do that. And it definitely lifts your spirits on those dark winter days when you've been out for a run or a bike ride. So thank you so much to everybody who is involved already. Keep up the good work, keep up in terms of encouraging others as well. And hopefully we'll have a very successful Doddie 8.
Have you ever thought of going into politics? I'm voting for Gabby.
The thing is, Bruce, I like to party too much. You can't do that in politics, can you? Oh no, you can. You can do that in politics.
You can, but only if you're one of 30 invited. Anyway, Gabby Logan, thank you so much for joining us. You've no idea how far this has reached. It is brilliant to see you, and I hope you get out safely.
You too. I'll see you again soon. I'll see you another ladies' night. Take care.
That was Gabby Logan. Gabby Logan has just left the call. How good was that? So, Jill Douglas, Gabby Logan, let's keep it going. Now, next guest in is a pal of Jill's, and we've got a story to tell here. So, if you need some motivation to get out, if you need some motivation to maybe get some pennies in there or ask for some pennies, here it comes. I'm really looking forward to speaking to this lady because we're back to the south, but she's in exile now. She's away doing some missionary work. So please welcome Jude Smith. Hello, Jude. How are you?
Hi, Bruce. How are you? I'm good, thanks.
Very well. Now, you were a little bit nervous about coming on, and then when we started talking before, it just all happened. So MND is something that you have had some personal experience with.
Yes, so my dad, Tom Elliott, a very famous Scottish Borders farmer, and also played rugby for Galway, Scotland and British Lions. He is a very loved man by all the family, but obviously by everyone else he knew him. He's just amazing. Sadly, he got diagnosed with motor neuron disease in January 1998. I lived down south, and my siblings, my brother Andrew and sister Nicola, and my mum obviously dealt with the day-to-day suffering of poor dad and what went through then. Very suddenly, he died in May 1998. So when he got his diagnosis, there was no treatment, no hope. There was no hope at all. Nobody knew what to do. It was just, that's your diagnosis, and the outcome is bleak. So when Doddie got his diagnosis, we were all obviously shocked and very, very saddened. But when he said nothing's moved on in 20 years, he was completely right. And this is why I'm involved in Doddie Aid, because 20 years to have no hope, no treatment, no look at a cure is just horrific. So everything we do now is to try and get one step closer. So this is what we're all doing here tonight, hopefully.
And you obviously hugely admire what's going on at the moment, and Doddie has really stamped his feet and seems to be driving a lot of this himself, and he's not willing to take no for an answer. What do you think? You know, you hear Jill talking about the money that's been donated and the biggest test. Mm-hmm. Is this filling you with some hope for the future?
Yeah, I mean, especially this year, and with the government pledging their millions as well, we just think we really are not far off. I just feel that the momentum is huge. In 20 years, nothing's happened, but in the last 3 or 4 years, it's gone just so fast. And I just feel every single day is another step. Jill and obviously all you lot on the team are doing amazingly well. And I just think everyone's working so hard. And I feel a cure is literally around the corner, hopefully. So yeah, it's just amazing.
And you're enjoying being part of Doddie Aid yourself?
Yes, I've done the last 2 years. So last year I was in Team South because that's where I'm from, in Gala. But this year, because we live in England, we're Barbas. Come on, Gabby. So yes, so we're good. So I've got my husband Andrew, he's in Team Barbas. My sister Nicola's in Greenlaw, and she's in the South. So a little bit of competition going then. All I'm doing at the moment is walking the dog, who's a bit slow and a bit old, but we're plodding around and we're doing a few miles every day. I did some rowing on Saturday with the rowing team, and we're doing good. And every single thing, I just feel like every mile, every minute, every step, you're getting one step closer to cure, one step nearer giving the MND patients hope. There's hope at the end of this tunnel, hopefully.
And at the beginning, when Dad was diagnosed, you probably didn't have any knowledge of this or know what the future was going to hold.
No, nobody really knew what MND was. It was just a diagnosis, and then you're like, what's the treatment? It was like none, and that was it. Yeah, nothing at all.
So being part of this, is obviously lifting people, but it's important that we hear these stories too to try and give some motivation. So give us your rallying call, because obviously Gabby's not happy. We've slipped to third. Give us your rallying call to get people in.
Well, I just think it's an amazing thing. It's great to do things with other people, friends, anywhere across the whole country can sign up. You can be against each other without being next to neighbours. Every single step is a step closer to hope for the patients that have got it now, hope for the future, hope for a cure. And also, it's not only just that, you're doing a bit for charity, but also helping get rid of excess Xmas food and also just doing your bit. So I think everyone should do their bit. As the girls have already said, the endorphins, just feeling better for getting out. We all know a little walk does make you feel 100% better. With this rubbish year we've all been having, get outside, do some walking, log your miles, and yeah, we'll get there.
I love it. Jude, it's been so good to see you. That wasn't that bad, was it?
It wasn't too bad. No.
Oh, good. I'm delighted.
Thank you very much.
Now you can relax. Jude Smith, thank you for joining us. All the very best, and keep in touch with us so we know what you're up to.
Thanks, Bruce. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Awesome. So you heard it there. It impacts so many people and nothing had moved on. And the progress that's been made just very, very recently has been amazing. But we've got to keep it going. And that's where you come in by being part of Doddie Aid. So you're just being spoiled tonight. So while you're being spoiled, take your phone out. You heard Gabby say if just everybody in Team Babas could get one more person to join, what that would do. That goes for all of you. Get your phone out, buy it as a present for somebody. You know it can happen. The links are on there on Doddie Gump and all over the place where you can gift somebody the membership. They'll get sent the email and they can go. So let's get involved. Let's get your pals involved, your mum involved, your auntie. Let's get them involved. Neil McElroy's in France and he's getting involved and he's all over it. He got his snood today. He's very happy. Very happy. Now, we've heard about her and now it's time to talk to her. This is a fast lady. This is a proper fast lady. And I can see she's got a smile on her face and I'm wondering if I'm going to get a hard time here. But like, this is all the people off TV. And this is Formula One, horsey, rugby, all over it. Coming from her home, please welcome Lee McKenzie.
Hi, I kind of now looking around thinking, is Gabby going to like criticize anything in my house? But I can admit that this is my house in Oxfordshire, so I'm absolutely fine. But it's a real pleasure being on and just hearing everyone's stories. I think Jude actually made probably the most relevant point. And as you say, Bruce, that, you know, I do come from this very fast moving world of Formula One and you take a lot for granted, I think. And Sir Jackie Stewart, 3-time world champion, noticed it when his wife, Lady Helen, was diagnosed with dementia. And of course, it's another charity, but it all comes from the same point. We had it as well when we all got sent back from Australia when COVID started. And people were like, well, hold on, what do you mean there's no ventilators? What do you mean there's no cure for dementia? What do you mean that nothing has changed in the world of motor neuron disease in 20 or 30 years? Because in Formula One, if your car is slow on the Friday and you're in China, they will make a new front wing at a cost of maybe £500,000 in Oxfordshire, and they will fly it to China so you go faster on a Sunday. That is the world that Formula One is. And of course, you know, maybe it is obscene amounts of money, but if there is a problem, the solution comes 24 hours later. And when you look at the medical world, and a lot of it has to come from, you know, knowing somebody who gets ill, and then you think, that is not right. We're talking 20 years, we're talking 30 years. Why is that happening? So a lot of the time, it relies on sport or people who work in big, fast-moving industries to actually be brave and to go out there and make a difference and raise money like Jill and everybody else here that's on this video call are trying to do. And I think that's, you know, that really resonates with me.
I heard somebody recently talking about sports people being role models and why do people listen to sports people. But the work that Doddie has done himself, surrounded by good people like Scott Hastings and Jill and Rob and all these good people. But Doddie himself has been an unbelievable ambassador. What's your Doddie story? Everybody has a Doddie story. What's yours?
I mean, I used to go and stay at Quartle Ferry Farm when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 years old or something. So my father, as I'm sure everybody knows, is a rugby journalist. He just recently retired, but he did Formula One and other sports as well. So he was very much embedded with Scotland when, there were no camera phones, and there was he'd go off on a Scotland tour and you wouldn't hear from him for 6 weeks, but he would get all the players to send me postcards. So every few days I'd get one from Craig Chalmers, from Scott Hastings, from Doddie. So it was fantastic. But, I'm younger than Doddie, but there was, Kirsty and the brothers and everyone. And so I would just go to the farm. I drove a tractor into the side of the family house, which was probably one of my low points. But then I shouldn't have been driving a tractor at 13 years old anyway. And so much of my sort of formative years are going to rugby and watching rugby was with the Weirs, and whether it be Doddie playing and me sitting with Nanny, his mum, or wherever at Murrayfield. And basically, she looked after me. It was really special, and it means an awful lot. And I keep in touch with Doddie when I can. In fact, he came to Silverstone. He came to the British Grand Prix a few years ago, and it was great being able to have him at the Grand Prix. It was fantastic. So yeah, he's a great role model, but he's for me a great friend as well. Really special memories.
Nanny is a great lady. Sadly missed. And talk me through Doddie at the Formula One. Did he get down into the pit? Did he get to wander around? Because some of those drivers are pretty small.
The grid. I saw him in the. I saw him basically at a party afterwards where all the motorhomes and the drivers are parked. So I was actually, because I was on TV and presenting the next day, I was sober. But they were all making quite a good dent in it at David Coulthard's motorhome. So yeah, eventually I left when it was just like getting to the sort of like the witching hour. I was like, I've got to go. So
I love it. And you've done so many different sports, and you've met so many different sports people and stood next to them in various different amazing venues. Who's the person that you love to interview the most? Who is it that you love to get the little bit of chat with?
Well, I actually always think that when you work with Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal, and maybe it's because I only do that once a year, I don't work week in, week out in tennis, but I do Wimbledon for BBC, and now we're actually strangely allowed on court to do those interviews instead of hiding away in a broom cupboard somewhere. But a few years ago, actually, I was you're kind of doing lots of jobs. So I was trying to cover centre court, but at the same time, which was Rafa Nadal and a guy called Dustin Brown, who's known as Dready Tennis, a really cool guy, a lot of trick shots. And I had to run downstairs to do my 3-minute interview with Roger Federer. So he saw that I was watching it, so kind of out the corner of my eye, which is probably very rude when you're interviewing a sort of 20 Grand Slam winner. But he said to me, "Are you covering this match as well?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he went, "Do you have time to sit and watch it?" And I was like, "Yes." So we sat down, and he was just incredible. And he said to me, he was like, in 2 shots time, because what looked like a sort of trick shot, tweener through the legs and things. He said to me, in 2 shots time, he's going to do this and it's going to go there, or Rafa's going to place this ball here in 3 shots time. And I was like, God, you talk about drivers reading a race, or players, rugby players, being able to read a game and know exactly what's going to happen. He could do every shot in tennis. And that was again a really special moment. And I think someone like Roger and Rafa, I must say, they ooze class. Dan Carter was another one. I was fortunate during lockdown to do 10 programs with him online. It was a vanity project for both of us, basically. I think we just realized we had a lot of time on our hands. He couldn't get to Japan to get his rugby. And for some reason, so I was in Scotland, I was in Ayr, and he was in New Zealand, and which meant that one of us was always having a coffee in the morning, or one of us was always having wine at night, depending on who we were interviewing. And we did 10 one-hour programs, and it was fantastic. And I did a program with him and Richie McCaw together, and we ended up talking for so long that we actually split it into 2, because it was just 2 hours of gold. And it was so special for me to see these players who, you've grown up watching, and just to be able to listen into their stories. Really, I had nothing to add. It was really special.
And now you get to speak to Bruce Aitchison on
Well, that was
Doddie
going to be my
Live.
third moment, Bruce. This was actually going to be my third moment.
I
So
tell
I
you,
was going to go
it-
Federer.
It's time to
McCall,
hang up the
Parker,
mic, Lee.
Aitchison.
You've covered it all. Hang up the mic. You've done it all. So it sounds like it's still special to you. The way you've spoken
Yeah.
there, I know it's a job, but that sounds like you still absolutely love what you do.
Well, it is, because I grew up, I was the kid, the annoying child that turned up at every single press box. So I knew Jill when I was little, and she'd started to work at Border TV. And then I followed Jill into that job, and then she left to go to Sky. And I think I just basically kept trying to take her jobs, like always about, 10 steps behind, like I want to do what she does. And essentially what we do is we get paid to go to sport that people pay to go to. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's like me this Saturday, I'm presenting Wasps against Toulouse. It doesn't matter to me what it is I'm covering. People have made an effort to follow a team, to be there. And I think that's really important. I started off as getting a Monday morning off school and going into the Ayrshire Post and writing about Ayr rugby, and a column horsing around with Lee McKenzie. It was as bad as it sounds. And, I just wanted to be a writer. I just wanted to write. I never wanted to be on TV. It didn't ever cross my mind. But I was writing reports and going to rugby from the age of about 10 onwards. And it just seemed a nice way to try and earn some money. And it still is.
Sounds absolutely amazing to me. So you've got no desire to get back in the car and be part of rally driving?
Oh, no, I think there was a very boozy night a few years ago where we managed to sign up to do the Arctic Rally Norway. But thankfully, the driver who I was driving with got a proper drive and had to move to America. So I was quite relieved, because when I woke up the next day, I was like, what on earth have we done here? So I just don't have the time. I think you've got to do it. It's dangerous. What it comes down to is it's dangerous. So you've got to be really committed to that. And I think maybe my days of competing in World Rally Championships are over.
So how long does it take you to get from Alloway to Oxford?
At the national speed limit, it takes me about 7.5 hours. And then you add in the M6, it's about 8.
All right, okay. And you do it in 5?
No, 5. 4.5.
I love it. So you're too scared to jump to Team Glasgow because...
I'd like to clarify this. I was Scottish Exiles last year. Now, that made sense as a Scottish district, if you're... The Barbarians isn't the same as the Scottish Exiles, because I feel I should be in a Scottish team, because I'm not a Barbarian really, unless I've had a couple of drinks. So I think from that point of view, I might reassess, but I'm quite excited about this bidding war for next year. So I'd like to encourage that. Oh, that's not my rallying call. I'll do a much more sort of like, we're part of a community.
We
and
could
it's a great
do it
cause.
like the IPL.
Yes.
For captains and there you go. So we could start on December the 1st. Yes.
My birthday.
I love it.
Also another important day.
Okay. Well, you've got right. That's it. We're sacking Logan. You're in. You're in.
Oh no. Yeah. I've got to do Six Nations. So please, let's not do that. Let's not upset her.
She's a very powerful lady. She's cleared off already. She's got nothing else to do in Italy yet. She's cleared off and can't be bothered to stay and watch the end of this. She's gone. Gabby Logan's finished. Step aside. So Lee, go for it. We're almost there. We've still got other guests to come, believe it or not. I can't wait. But give us that call. How are you going to get people involved?
Well, I think it's about community, and yes, you can be in the Barbarians or the south of Scotland or Glasgow, etc. But in actual fact, it is a collective, and we are all doing a great thing. And without sort of taking up the time, because I really want to hear from Jenni as well. So if you can just get one extra person, but the fact that you're doing it yourself, I think is really important, and make some noise. Go on social media, tell people that you're doing it. I think the more people that we can get involved, the more people that talk about it, the more it will become even more known. And therefore it just builds and builds every year.
Lee McKenzie, it's been an absolute pleasure. So we've got Federer, Nadal, Carter, McCaw, Aitchison.
You.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Lee. See you very soon.
See you.
How good. How good. What a crazy lady. Look at this. Doug Stephen has already started the bidding war. £100 for Lee Are you kidding me on? She's worth this. Look at this. She's raging. Lee, are you kidding me on? Only £100.
I was going to say something. I'm actually going to just self-edit there.
He's worth a fortune as well. He could afford a lot more than £100.
Higher.
Yeah, higher. Careful now, because this could turn into something really dodgy. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. Right, you heard it here. This weekend, we've got a 5K for Doddie Aid, and who would you get to go for it? The lady who has got more trainers than Foot Locker. She has got an unbelievable wardrobe for running kit, has a running pod. If you were going to do a 5K, you would do it with everybody's favourite ever blind date contestant. It's the one and the only Jenni Falconer.
I wondered how long before you mentioned it, and you got it in before I'd even said hello. Hello.
Yeah. Do you wish that had been left behind, or do you still? Is it okay?
It's okay. I mean, gosh, it's what started me out, really. So I did that, enjoyed it, and said, "Oh, I'd quite like to work in telly." And they were like, "Yeah, whatever, take a hike." That's what everyone says. So I was quite pleased to prove them wrong. But yeah, so I haven't got anything to be ashamed about. It started my career. It's just a bit embarrassing looking back. And I had this really weird voice, and oh my God, it's cringy thinking about it now, but it was a great experience.
But amazing that you're still so happily married to Donda.
Actually, do you know what? So I went on blind date 1994, quite a while ago, and I was the picker, which obviously means you get the free holiday and all the rest of it. So it's a bit of a result. And I picked a guy who was, a fish and chip shop fryer, 20 stone, Greek Cypriot from Maidstone, had his own fish and chip shop, but just a lovely, lovely guy. And we became really good friends. And in fact, we lost touch. But when I worked on GMTV, guaranteed any occasion Scylla was in, they'd bring in the clips and they'd bring in Donda. They'd reunite us. And then now I'm Instagram friends with his kids. It's so weird.
I'm just waiting for him to sell the story. Let's face it, chip shop sales have taken a nosedive. He's going to sell the story.
I don't know what story that would be, but yeah, there's bound to be one somewhere along the line. But anyway, look, it's lovely to be here today.
Yes, and lovely to see you. And we're gearing up for the 5K on Saturday.
We are. So this is so exciting. And wherever you're watching, hello there to you. And look, you might not be a runner, you might be a cyclist or a rower or a swimmer or a walker or a sofa sitter, but whatever you are, this weekend, make a difference and get involved with the Doddie Aid 5K run weekend. Now, it changes name, by the way, because Rob and I were trying to work out what we'd call it. Should we call it the Doddie Aid run weekend or the Doddie Aid 5K weekend? It doesn't matter. It's basically, you've got to get off your backside, get out there and run. Rob is coming on Run Pod, which is my podcast, on Friday morning. It's going to be released. And so basically, I see that as the start of the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's my opinion. As long as you do 5K over those few days, log it. And do you know what? If you fancy going further, feel free.
You'll go further than 5K. You're not going to stop at 5K.
No, well, I'd like to, even if it's 5K every day, it's something, but it's just about getting out there and being active. I think that's what's so brilliant about this. Don't you agree? It's rubbish outside. It's really dark. It's blooming freezing. But the fact is, when you have a reason to get out there instead of just sitting indoors and procrastinating and putting it off, you have to get out and complete this challenge. So actually, it's a great time of year to get out there and be active. And also to raise money for such an amazing charity.
And you are part of Team Glasgow, who at the moment
rubbish.
They could do with
right at the bottom.
They could do a bit of a pick me up. So how do you get people in the weeds out and about?
Well, do you know what? I have my own little would I have it? Is it my own league within that? Would that be what it is? It's not a district, it's a league, right?
Jenni Falconer's in a league of her own.
And it's called the Run Pod Run Club. There we go. And I have a whopping 66 members.
A whopping 66 members. So can more people join?
Yeah, please come and join. You have to be in the Glasgow team. But that's good. That's 66 people that have just gone from RunPod. I've got a Facebook group, and I just put it up yesterday, and that's 66. So I'm hoping that we get a few more. But it's good. You know what? Whichever team you're part of, ultimately, it doesn't matter which team you're in, because you're doing the same thing and you're raising money. However, it would be nice if the Glasgow wasn't at the bottom.
Yeah, they've got some work to do, but they'll come good, and they're taking part, aren't they?
Do you know what? It is the taking part that counts. And whatever you
The
say,
team in fifth always say that. The team in fifth always say that.
The Gabbies, the Lorraines, the Gregs, the whole lot of them, they can all say it's about winning, but it's not. Where's the team spirit there?
So you must be racking up most of that distance, because between your walk to work and your run home and your golf and your dog walking and all the other stuff you get up to, you must be contributing 50% of the Glasgow distance.
I think I'm on 70 miles. But that's the thing is, I realised this as well. So Glasgow might have more walkers and runners, and the other areas might just have millions of cyclists. This is something. It's not fair. Because I can't
Jenny, you start. Jenny, you start. There's enough grief about this app than you starting it on here, Jenni Falconer. Because there's swimmers too.
A bit more balanced. Yeah. Well, they don't go as far even as walkers. So come on.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Rob
so
Wainwright, get that sorted.
Glasgow's made up of swimmers, walkers, and joggers. There we go.
Yeah. Glasgow's full of swimmers. I'll bet they are. Now, why are holiday programs not on the TV anymore?
I know, they were so fun. I did them for years. And do you know what was? I say that from the person that was working on them, because you just got to go and recce all the places you'd like to go on holiday. But it was so weird, because when you film a travel show, right, and I did quite a few, I did about 15 years of it, you wake up and you don't know where you are, and you don't know what time zone you're in. And I remember
it sounds like Jill Douglas most days.
Well, yeah, so she'll still have that, won't she? Because she's traveling so much. But
it's because she's reeking all the time. It's because she swims in gin.
Is that what it is? Well, that does contribute, I guess, as well. But yeah, it is funny. I remember waking up one time, not knowing where I was, and having to phone home and going, "Can you tell me which country am I in?" And it was like 2 a.m. Like, "You're in Hong Kong. Thank you. Bye."
Who did you phone?
I phoned my now husband. "Please, where am I?" I just think he's like, "Oh my God, my bestie got married to me." He's like, "She is weird."
She is weird. Now, your pals with Lorraine, who's a team captain, is there a bit of needle there?
No, and look, it's great. There's nothing. As I say, I'm not bitter at all that she's at the top of the leaderboard. It's fine.
What are the other things that I'm asking the big questions here. How much fun was Splash?
Oh God, that's the one that's embarrassed. So so Gabby hosted that, and see that Gabby's done a runner now, probably because she knows that I'll be like, "What the hell?" So they said, "We're going to do this diving show," and I'm quite up for a challenge. I love doing all these sporting shows. So I was like, yeah, I'm totally up for it. And I agreed to do it, and we went and trained, and we learned how to dive, and I did springboard, which was really fun. And then just before we went live on the Saturday night show, they go, and by the way, we're all thinking it's a really serious sports show. They go, "So what do you want your dance-on music to be?" And I was like, what? Now, I'm in a swimming costume in my, I think I was in my late 30s at the time, or maybe, yeah. And on national television, and they want me to dance down the side of the pool to some like R&B song. It was possibly the worst moment of my life. Live on ITV on Saturday night. It was awful.
Well, so, and again,
have you ever done that? Walked around the edge of a
danced on
pitch.
TV on a Saturday night? Are you kidding me? I would love to dance on TV on a Saturday night, which brings me to my next big question. When are you going to do Strictly?
I don't know. One day maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Would you do it?
Yeah, of course. To learn, I love learning all these skills, and at least then there is dance-on music with that, isn't there?
What's the husband saying about that? He's not going to be keen on the whole Strictly idea.
I think he would actually really appreciate me doing something like that, simply because I'm such a crap dancer. So I'm really terrible at it, that it would probably help a little bit. So when we go out, I would be less of an embarrassment.
And he'd be
I'm
able to
someone who
watch Match
doesn't.
of the
You
Day
do.
in peace.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm not a dancer and I'm not a karaoke singer. However, after a few drinks, I will do both, and it is dangerous. See, look, Bruce and Speedos, people like the idea of this. Maybe this should be there should be something Doddie related about
Doddie, Strictly Come Doddie dancing.
There we go.
Yeah. So who would your partner be?
Oh, I don't know. To be honest, I didn't see much of it this series because I've been working quite a lot in the last few months. So I didn't get to see it as much. But anyone really, they're all good. They're all good.
Yeah, love Strictly. So you've been all over. You've done lots of things. You've interviewed lots of people. How did I do?
You're doing very well. I think
Oh.
you're good. But
Oh.
I've spoken to you before. You're a complete whiz at this. So it's a joy to talk to you.
Right.
How did I do as a guest? Because usually I'm the one asking the questions.
I tell you what, Jill Douglas was all right. Gabby was a bit cold. I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody loves Lee McKenzie, like proper, like absolute superstar.
She's pretty cool.
Jude with the message, and then you just put the cherry on the top with Jenni Falconer and smash it out of the park. It has been an absolute joy, and I am ready to retire and turn in the headband. But Jenni, with everything that's going on, Doddie Aid, 343,000 already. Obviously, we want to raise as much, but we want people to feel good and be part of something. So how do we get those numbers to creep up again?
I just think it's about spreading the word. Look, this weekend is the 5K run weekend, and anyone can take part in this. Like, you don't have to be a runner; you can walk it. And the more people you do it with, the better. So get a group of people, all go out, all sign up for the app, and register your distance, just so we can all clock a few extra miles. But by doing it together, you not only will involve more people, but you'll also, it's about the community, and it's about getting together and involving other friends and having a reason to go out and be sociable with other people at this time of year, when it's kind of key that we all boost our mental health. And by being with others, and the running community in particular is so friendly and supportive, that I actually think it's a really good way and a great way to get out, be active, raise money for charity, and try and get as many people involved. Even if it's your mum who doesn't want to run, get her to go out for a walk with you. You know, just get out there, get some fresh air.
Amen. Now, I can't remember her name. What's the name of the cleaner at the radio station?
Oh, Elaine. How can
Have you
not
got Elaine
remember
involved? Have you got Elaine involved?
Do you know, she'd probably hoover the miles. She's a whiz at that.
I think if anybody's going to get anybody a gift of being a Doddie Aid member, you should get Elaine a membership. And when you video in the morning and say hello to her, if she had a snood on, it would go down an absolute storm. Okay,
all right. Well, leave that with me then.
Right.
She's got Elaine, by the way, is someone who I work with every morning, and she is just magic. I've never seen her without a huge smile on her face, and that is what you need at 5 a.m. every day.
I used to work at Hoyk High School, the school for the hard of thinking. And when I would arrive in the morning, the cleaner used to meet me every single day and say, "Aye, another day in paradise." And he was absolutely right. It was magic. Yeah. Jenni Falconer, an absolute pleasure. All the very best. And I look forward to seeing everything you get up to and the 5K and drumming up some more support for Doddie Aid.
Bruce, thank you. And if you can download a podcast this Friday, have a listen to Run Pod. It's all about Doddie Aid. It's all about how you can get involved. And we chat. There's a lot of chat with Rob, so we hear all about him as well. So it's great.
Yeah, not so much about Rob, but yeah, the rest of it will be good. Jenni, absolutely magnificent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Love it. Well, what more can Doddie Aid bring you? You have had it all. And this weekend, it's time to get the trainers on, or at least the walking boots. It doesn't matter how you do it. Get out and do a 5K. Richard Ellis, you are damn tooting. It's time for Strictly. I'm not sure about the Lycra, though, or the Tapsaf. Genius Brewing with their classic mugs and donating money. If you can, get hold of some and support the foundation. It's all happening. There's the Halbro kit, there's the hoodies, there's obviously my limited edition t-shirt having made it into Doddie's diary. Folks, life's good, huh? We're doing good things and we're feeling good, but what we really want, let's make no bones about it, we want to spread the word and get more people in, because the more people, the better. The more people, it makes everybody feel good and feel part of something. It means there's some more pennies in the pot so that we can get some more research and find a cure for this thing. And it also brings families closer together and gives them a little bit more hope. So get involved. Do it for your district, mostly for Team South, please. Mostly for Team South. Don't be bullied into being with the Babas with Gabby Logan. It's time to be Team South. If you've enjoyed it, we'll be back next week. I've got no idea who the guests are, and you know what? I couldn't care, because tonight has been an absolute cracker and I have loved it. Thank you to Jill. Thank you to Gabby, thank you to Jude, thank you to Lee, and thank you to Jenny. It has been an absolute joy. And backstage, pushing the buttons and pulling the strings, has been Sam and Sean, who are always there to help. To Rob for all his organisation, to Alex at the foundation, and Ian, who's doing the Doddie Gump stuff. Do me a favour, folks. Stop moaning about the app and just get out and walk and run and cycle and do all the good stuff and enjoy it. My name's Bruce Aitchison, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Come on, the South!